Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jay, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to go about picking up a Tekken main, or even like a secondary main or a third main, and just, some tips that I've done throughout the years of picking up my mains, I guess. And this is really for anybody to watch this video, whether you're new to Tekken and having trouble picking up a character, or if you play Tekken and you're having trouble deciding who you really want to stick with, or if you already have a main but want a secondary main like I said earlier. So for those of you guys that don't know, I am a Julia main, and I also play Lei Wulong as well as Lang Xiaoyu. And Xiaoyu is actually my very first main back in Tekken 3, so this is like the OG right here. But yeah, but these days I play like a lot of Julia mostly. And yeah, so I would say there's really 3 tips I want to give you guys with picking up a Tekken character. And I would say the first one would be, which I think is really important, you want to pick a main whose aesthetic or design is appealing to you. So so whether that's like you love how the aesthetic look, or if you like the character, or if you like their lore, like a character that you think looks pretty cool, or just that you like how they look, like you like and it may not just be just how they look, but maybe like some of their animations, how they look fighting, just someone that that you really like, because it's really important that you do, because in order to get good at this game, you're going to have to spend a lot of time with this character. So you want to get someone that you do genuinely like. It's going to take a lot of time to master them, unless you play like a fucking Leroy, or any of these guys, these 4 people, or her. But that's besides the point. But yeah, you really want to pick a character who has a design that you like. So for me, when it comes to Julia, Xiaoyu, and Lei Wulong, I like Julia because I like the Native American aesthetic as well as the scientist. Like, I think it blends pretty well together, and I think also it's just that she's a classic character. She's been in the game since Tekken 3, and I feel like the characters back in the older games, like from Tekken 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think those characters have the best aesthetic designs. I feel like the developers were a lot more creative back then with creating characters. So that's why I really like Julia. I think Lei Wulong is really cool. I love that he's influenced by Jackie Chan. I love his animations, really beautiful animations and gameplay. As far as Xiaoyu, I like her design. When I was little, I thought she was cute. So, because I was like, Tekken 3 came out in 97. I was born in 96. So I was literally like a little toddler when I played this game, like maybe 5 years old. But yeah, I really like how this character looked, and I really liked also like I said, the game plan. And I guess that goes to the second point. You want to have not only how the game plan looks, but is it a game plan that you like? So first is get a character that you like their design, you like their lore in the story, or you may like their character, or some combination of those things. And number 2 is get a character who you have fun playing with. So I knew from the get-go, ever since I've been playing Tekken, I always loved complex stance-based characters, which is another reason why I really like Lang Xiaoyu and Lei Wulong specifically. Like, I love the fact that these 2 characters allow me to play the game in my own little way, and allow me to be creative, and allow me to really express myself, I guess you can say, in Tekken, that is. For Julia, I like her for different reasons. I love that her moveset, or like her fighting style, Bajikwan is what it's, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I love how powerful it is. I love the strong hits. Like, that always stood out to me with her. So you want to get a character whose game plan that you really admire, like whether it's a complex character or a simple character. You want to get a character whose game plan you like, but also you want to make sure that it's compatible with you. So if you're like a more offensive character, then if you have like a game plan, if you prefer offensive characters, you kind of want to take that in consideration with picking a Tekken character, if you like how they look. I mean, I'm not saying that should be a deciding factor. Of course, it's up to you, but you want to make sure that you pick someone that is that's fun to you, but also compatible with how you fight. And I think a lot of and I would say as far as compatibility with the fighting style, like whether they're like a defensive character or offensive character or poke heavy or a keep out character or grappler, you know, I can go on. I feel like if you really like the character, which is why I put that tip first, I feel like you are more willing to learn or adapt to their game plan. So, one, pick a character that you love how they look, you love the design or aesthetic. 2, get a character that you find fun to play. And 3, which I think may arguably be a very controversial tip, you want to think about practicality. So I would say, in the perfect world, like if I had 100% skill in Tekken, or if I was like right at the skill ceiling, this guy as well as this guy would be my 2 mains. I think this Lee and Steve. I love their designs. I love their characters. I feel like they're very unique characters. When I say character, I mean like personality. But I think they're really unique characters. I like that they're classic characters back in the old games. And I think their game plan is complex enough for me to where it's interesting. And I just have fun playing these characters when I do. However, it's the practicality of it. And that's really important because everybody, unfortunately, I mean, maybe, you know, to the diehard Tekken fans. I mean, I'm a diehard fan, but you know, everyone doesn't have time to play Tekken all the time, every day, all day. You know, we do have lives still. So, and Lee and Steve may be more compatible for some people, but these are 2 very high execution characters. Very high execution. There's a lot to take in. And so much to where I feel like there's no way that these guys can be my mains right now. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But yeah, it's just not practical. And I say this, I mean, of course, if you're willing to put in that time and effort, then yes, go for it. I'm not saying don't go to a high execution character or very complex character. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying think of the practicality for your specific situation, okay? So if you have a character that's considered difficult to play or extremely difficult to play, you need to ask yourself, okay, am I willing to put in the time with this character? Am I willing to put in the time to get good with this character, to reach their skill ceiling? Am I okay with getting my ass whooped a lot? Because that comes with the territory. And you know, when you lose in Tekken, yes, it's just a game. Yes, we play for fun. But when you lose repeatedly, and you feel like you're not getting better, that can be very discouraging. It really can. Especially nowadays where it seems like the game is, when they're creating like a lot more characters that are very simple and easy to use, but yet have this OP damage and just all these, have a tool for everything, it can be very, very discouraging. So you really want to make sure that it's practical. Okay, you need to ask yourself, am I willing to learn am I willing to learn everything that this character can do? Am I willing to master their execution? Am I willing to keep getting beat? Am I willing to, you know, accept the fact that I may never reach the Fujin rank until 3 years later? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really need to consider that, because it's important. Because I think if you're not being practical, you can probably get to a point where you don't want to play the game at all. And I think it's such a shame, because there are like a lot of great characters in this game, which is why it's important that you choose the right one for you. So yeah, so those are my 3 tips. Get a character whose design you admire, a character who you have fun playing with, as well as considering the practicality. Like, are you willing to put time into that character? You know, and some characters may come easier for others than it do for you. So, you know, I found Xiao Yu pretty easy to get into. Well, actually, no, I didn't. I found Julia kind of easy for me to get into, but a lot of people consider Julia to be very hard and difficult to play. You know, and there is execution there, but I don't feel. I mean, she's definitely harder than average, but I don't feel like she's the hardest character in the game. Like I wouldn't put her in like S tier difficulty, but you know, there's a lot to take in. But I feel like she came kind of natural to me. Like it was just like it was meant to be. It's like compatible, you know. So yeah, consider that. Like just don't let someone tell you that this character is hard and to the point to where you just say, well, I don't want to play them. You know, give every character a try that you have an interest in. You know, and you're gonna kiss a lot of frogs, okay? I can go over so many characters who I've tried to play and just wasn't right for me. So like I said, Lee, I like his design, I like his game plan, but not practical for me. Steve, same thing. Hwoarang, I like his design. It is practical, honestly. Hwoarang, or Hwoarang, how you pronounce it, his as far as execution, it's like right on par with what I'm looking for. I like a character that has some level of execution, but not too much to deal with, you know? Like I would put his execution slightly below Julia's. But his game plan, I really want to like this character completely. And I'm always going on a Hwoarang rant. But something about his game plan, I can't put my finger on it. It's just not, something's just not resonating with me, and maybe I needed to give him another try because I really want to learn this character. I like his design, and I feel like he wouldn't be, you know, too hard to learn execution wise, and I like complex stance-based characters, but for some reason it just isn't for me, you know. And I might change my mind in the future, but you know, this guy, I like Law. I like his I feel like his design, they could be a little more creative with the design. I like his game plan. You know, as far as the practicality, given that DSS is required for pretty much everything to be good with this character, not practical for me. Jin, same thing. Love the design, love the game plan. Practicality, no. Dragunov, I think he has a really interesting game plan. I like the game plan. I like the I think he's quite practical to play, but his design is ugly. I don't like it. so yeah, those are just a few examples of, you know, characters that, you know, I've considered. I've tried a Paul with him. I'm not a big fan of his design. It's okay, but the biggest thing with him was the practicality for me. I don't like all those quarter circles. Asuka, like the design. I find the game plan to be a little dull. So yeah, I can go on and on, but yeah, so those are my tips for picking up a Tekken main. I hope you find these helpful. Make sure you leave me a comment, like the video, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.